Mayor Brandon Johnson is the sickness that is destroying Chicago.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist? And if it was your wife Stacy's body that had been concealed and abused by Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, the illegal alien, you said that you felt threatened by the question, that it scared you, and I do apologize.
All right, honing in on Blue City crime as Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy identifies the Chicago train victim as 26-year-old Bethany McGee, who now suffers from severe burns after police say she was set on fire by a career criminal. Secretary Duffy slamming the city's soft on crime policies for allowing this tragedy to occur, writing, quote, "This would never have happened if this thug had been behind bars, yet Chicago lets repeat offenders roam the streets. Chicago's carelessness is putting the American people at risk. No one should ever have to fear for their life on the subway." This announcement following more violence in the Windy City as one teenager was killed and another 8 were wounded during 2 separate shootings on Friday night.
So we've talked about this in the last couple of videos, talking about, holding Mayor Brandon Johnson accountable. And there's going to be a reporter by the name of William J. Kelly. And this is probably the only reporter that I've seen when he's asking Mayor Johnson the tough questions. That's usually what happens is Brandon Johnson gets defensive, he gets emotional, he doesn't even answer the question, but he really starts hitting him with just the basic stuff like, this city is falling apart. Explain yourself, Mayor. Then usually Mayor Johnson just shows that he is just not equipped for the job. But I want to check this out.
Chicago-based journalist William Kelly joins me now. William, thanks for joining us. Things are always bad in Chicago, but it seems to be really bad when it comes to violence right now. Is that true?
God bless you, Carly. Well, I can just say this. Thank God you're not in Chicago right now, because I wouldn't be able to guarantee that you would not be set on fire due to Mayor Brandon Johnson's policies, his policies that are rooted in a hatred for law enforcement. When he was a candidate, he said he wanted to defund the police. I was the only journalist that actually called him out on it before the election. It's a very sad situation in Carly. As somebody who was born and raised in the city of Chicago, as somebody who loves Chicago with all of his heart, it breaks my heart to see what these policies are doing to the real people of Chicago, the law-abiding citizens, the good people of Chicago, Carly.
Yeah.
Brandon Johnson did say that he wanted to defund the police when he ran for mayor. So this is not hyperbole. That actually happened.
Mr. Johnson, you attended an event in 2020. It was called We Don't Call Police. And that same year you said it was a political goal to defund the police.
President Barack Obama took it one step further as well. Basically said that the effort of the defund police movement lost an audience because of that slogan, I guess is what he's calling it. Which I don't look at it as a slogan. It's an actual real political goal.
I get so sick and tired of people in this country and in this city that believes that the only thing that you can offer black people and poor people is jails, incarceration, and police officers. Dr. King said this right here in Chicago, the National Conference on New Politics. What did he say? He said, militarism is a sickness. I am trying to eradicate the sickness from this city and from this country. The fact of the matter is we are driving violence down on this city, and we're using every single resource that's available to us. Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities.
So why this reporter matters, most reporters toss a lot of softballs at Brandon Johnson. They ask this stuff about how you feel or what's your vision for the city, which is, cute, but mostly useless. Kelly comes in with very hard-hitting questions. Let me show you a few of those highlights right now where you could see Brandon Johnson, his stance on how the crime situation has gone out of control in Chicago.
Real Chicagoans woke up this morning relieved that the Department of Justice is finally investigating your race hustle. As someone who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I've heard a lot of race hustlers in my life, trust me, but they were usually marching around outside of City Hall, which is what makes this so embarrassing and dangerous, very, very dangerous to the city of Chicago.
Okay, we need the question.
I'm more than happy to ask this question. It's long overdue. For over a year, real Chicagoans, white and black, have been telling me that your black power rhetoric is bringing the city backwards from a place that
we need the question.
Had overcome. You want the question?
Please.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
Well, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
You want to bet?
All right, we're going to go to the next one. Alice?
The next question, my follow-up question is a businessman, Robert Gomez, had his riverfront restaurant license yanked. You said that the reason you hire black people is because they're the most generous race on the planet. His riverfront restaurant license was yanked and given to a black restaurateur. That has, once again, reinforced the belief among real Chicagoans, white and black and Mexican, that you are a racist. What do you say to those people?
Again, I reject the premise that somehow that your question has any legitimacy.
And the real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and her. If that had been your wife, Stacy, would you want ICE to deport that illegal alien? Yes or no? Answer the question as a man, not as mayor, but as a man. Would you want ICE to deport that rapist? No? Okay. That's the answer. That's the answer for real Chicagoans.
Mayor, sorry for being late to traffic's bad. Maybe the Fed can help.
You're not blaming me for the traffic, are you?
Like this young girl who's now suffering severe burns after just riding the train in this horrific attack. By the way, the suspect had been arrested 72 prior times. And over the weekend, President Trump posted on Truth Social that people are chanting, "Bring in Trump." What do you think about that? I mean, obviously Chicago is a liberal city, so that would be pretty surprising. But what are people saying about this?
Well, the real people, including black and brown people who talk to me every single day, say that they are horrified by this. Brandon Johnson says to this day, right to this very moment, he says that law enforcement is a sickness, that incarcerating repeat violent offenders who, quote, look like him, as in his own words, who look like him, is a sickness. The only sickness in Chicago is Mayor Brandon Johnson's policies. Mayor Brandon Johnson is the sickness that is destroying Chicago.
You can see right here, 72 arrests, 8 felony convictions, 7 misdemeanor convictions. When you have that kind of situation, and it's very similar to what's going on in here in New York City, this is not helping anybody. This is not making anyone safer. When you have someone since 1993, what's that, 30-something years? Clearly, there's something wrong with this individual. Why this person keeps getting out. 8 felony convictions? I mean, there's other places where I remember it was 3 strikes and you're out. I guess that's not here in the city of Chicago, in the state of Illinois. That's why Kelly asks these questions like, how is this happening under your watch? How you don't have an impassioned speech saying this is unacceptable? That if there's someone who is continually demonstrating that he does not care about society, he only cares about himself, and he's going to break any law that he wants or he deems to be useless to him, how's he still able to do what he wants to do? And have Brandon Johnson so focused on the race card, or it just doesn't make any sense when there's black people getting hurt in these situations.
Sickness, something that's going on with children right now, because kids appear to be out of control in Chicago. Right. When it comes to this, it should have been a beautiful tree lighting, and it ended in a death of a teenager and other teens shot. And not only that, last week we saw that viral video of the mother and her 2 young children getting beaten up by Chicago children as well. So what's going on when it comes to the kids?
Carly, once again, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And by the way, this was not on the South Side where I grew up. This was on State Street, that great street that Frank Sinatra used to talk about all the time, Old Blue Eyes, right? Right in front of the Chicago Theater, where I just went to go see, a show, a few nights before. This is, this is happening all over the city of Chicago now. It used to be that summer was the violent black teenager season in Chicago. Now it's Christmas season, Christmas time. The Christmas tree lighting ceremony is now synonymous with violent black teenagers rampaging through the streets of Chicago, shooting people, shooting at each other. But of course, they have notoriously bad aim, marksmanship. So of course, any person on the sidewalk is fair game to be shot by these violent black teenagers, Carly.
It's a tragic situation, and President Trump is offering federal intervention. That offer is still on the table. We'll see if anybody in Chicago takes it up.
I don't think that's going to happen. I do give Mondami some props. I mean, I don't know what the end game is, but the fact that he actually wanted to talk to Trump and actually see if he can make something work for the benefit of what's going on in New York City. Different strategy than what Brandon Johnson is doing, where it's just defy, have some speeches. We gotta stop this dictatorship, while people are getting shot and killed and beat up in a city that he is supposed to be the mayor, he's supposed to be the one leading. It shows out of touch Brandon Johnson is with the situation. But that's why it's good to have reporters down there who will ask the most basic questions, even if it's uncomfortable or not, to demonstrate and show that, again, Brandon Johnson is not the man for the job. I don't think J.B. Pritzker is the right governor for the job, but that is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.